Everybody to our weekly subscriber game analysis stream featuring in-depth analysis of up to 10 games from our subscribers here on the stream. Welcome, Astrobate, Mr. Coffee, good to see you. Spectacular Camel, helping to put together this study. Very much assists me. Scared Knight, I mentioned. Who else is here? Let's take a look. Move 11, Spectacular Camel, another TV viewer. Go with him, Kakatiri, Carbo. Alright, guys. We're going to get started in just a moment. I've got to do something right with us. Alright guys, ready to get started. Ready to get started with some game analysis. Got the stream study up. I've got, let's see, we've got 8 submissions, I believe. Move 11, welcome. What is that? 2020 delivery. Is that from the hype train? Looks like hot dog delivery. You broke the limit? What do you mean you broke the limit? What are you talking about, man? Snuggles the snail. How many frogs is that? 14 frogs. Spectacular Camel, 2200. You made it? Spectacular Camel, congratulations. He broke 2200 in lichess. After all these streams of watching, I take all the credit. I'm just kidding, man. Congratulations. You replaced the game to the one where I broke the limit. Okay. So, I see. I've got Yabatis, Mule Skinner, Sadamasa, Uber, Gina Rook, Astrobate, Sumahair, Kakatiri. That's where we stand now with 8 submissions. If I forgot anyone, let us know. Let myself or my assistant. The fantastic Spectacular Camel. Fantastic Camel. Now you are truly spectacular for breaking 2200 in rapid chess. Congratulations. Not easy to do. So we've seen tremendous improvement from Spectacular. He's the only camel that's been around lately. It is spectacular having a camel on the stream. Alright guys, we're going to take a look at this while I open my beer, my celebratory beer. We're going to have a celebratory beer just for you, Spectacular Camel, in honor of your 2200 breakthrough. Okay. Welcome everybody to my stream, International Master William Pascal. Please tune in regularly. Something crazy with my beer. I think it might have been frozen. I'm under what's the freezing point for beer? Does anybody know offhand? Any science people out there? Freezing point for vodka, freezing point for beer is I just assumed the freezing point for beer would be close to water, but I think there was an iceberg inside my beer obstructing its proper poration. It should be lower for lower than water. There's like this overflowing ice from the mini fridge, and it's like the beer isn't in the freezer, but the outside of the freezer has ice, so it was touching the ice. All right. We've got very important science questions that we answer here on the stream. What is the freezing point of beer? This is kind of I should note that it's kind of American style beer. Wonder if it makes a difference what kind of beer it is. 27 degrees. Astrobate looked it up. The freezing point of beer. 2700 Fahrenheit. 2700. This Freudian. 2700 Freudian slip. I'm not taking Blitz challenges, guys. We're doing game analysis. This is the 2200 masterpiece for Yabatis. He was 2199 facing a 2179. What's the freezing point for vodka? Astrobate. That's the real question. Approximately 28 Fahrenheit. Knight c3, knight f6. So basically, Yabatis avoids theory by playing knight c3 with white every game and knight c6 with black every game. He's the... What's that guy's name? Oh my god, I can't remember a name. It will come to me. The George Hickel of knight c3. Hickel, who only played g3 and g6. You only play knight c3 and knight c6, like Zvonimir. So it depends on the proof. Alright. Anyway, vodka is not in question today. d3, g6, g3. Do not try this at home. The Jerry Springer? Wait, I missed some. What does that mean? Wait, what's the relevance of Jerry Springer here? I missed something. Bishop g2, castles, and now we just have like a standard run-of-the-mill closed Sicilian. The Mary Springer, right? Good joke from Spectacular Camel. Mary Springer, not the Jerry Springer. The Link Springer. That's what he's joking about, the Jerry Springer. So in German, the Link Springer is a book by, I forget the guy's name, who wrote an entire opening book on One Knight c3. Actually, very nice. It's an older book, but a very nice, complete book on Knight c3. Highly recommended if you're interested. I can't remember his name. d6, and now it could be a Pierce, it could be a double king pawn opening, it could be a Sicilian. We will wait and stay tuned to see what black does. Jerry Fahrenheit, that's what it is. h3. And of course he has to be like different. He can't play c5 or e5. He has to play c6 just to be weird. f4. Michael Hennigan, Andrew Martin, classic English masters. Favored this position with black. Masters of the Pierce and modern. Alright, c6, f4. This is sort of thematic. We're following a game from 81, where many times chess-base video author Andrew Martin, playing the black pieces, played e5. And now, white to move. Do we play knight e2, knight f3? Braga played g4. Really over the top, but possible. I'm not sure I like what black did here, to be honest, either. Alright, he's not letting you play f5 without giving up a pawn. I don't see that sacrifice happening. So, knight f3 looks good, but you've got a g3 issue. Spectacular Camel decided to play knight f3. I am concerned about knight h5. How are we protecting this? Thus, understand why the guy did g4 in that other game. Probably not a big deal. Knight here. I don't like pulling the knight away from the center, but it's perhaps not so bad for white after knight e2. Any comments, questions, donations, hype train maybe? 2 hype trains in 1 week. Welcome, guys. Please support the stream if you can and subscribe. Smoke, welcome. Let's see, I got no sound on. Yeah, the only Anwa just followed 2 minutes ago. I should put my headset on just to listen for notifications. Alright, anyway, the game is knight of 3. I assume... I mean, black can hit you with this capture, right? On the next move. He played rook e8. I don't know. I mean, the game is usually the file. Who breaks first along the file in this type of structure? Rook e8 looks kind of routine. You could even exchange here. And I think have a semi-reasonable position. Black setup like c6 and rook e8 with the pawn on e5 doesn't look that great either. So you castled, fluid, and now this pretty strange move, bishop d7. Where is your knight going? It shades of Karpov Timan. Very famous loss by Timan against Anatoly Karpov in a Fianchetto Pierz. I remember that featured strongly in the strangeness of the game. The fact that Timan never managed to move his knight till later, and the bishop takes away its square at d7. I mean, obviously this is probably playable, but I mean, bishop d7 just doesn't really do anything if you think about it, right? I mean, it's not improving its mobility whatsoever by being on d7. So I mean, normal King's Indian approach is like knight d7, or possibly knight a6. Why bother moving the bishop at all at this point? Would be the big question. Bishop d7, g4. So it's like delayed Braga versus Martin. And now you're threatening to engulf him with f5. Keep in mind, if Wade ever plays f5, it takes pressure off the center. Black might be able to counterattack with d5, but I don't think we want to see f5, g5, etc. Black needs to consider taking f4. He does take an f4 here. But conceding the center, sir, you are very conceited. Conceding the center. Hello, that's another team. World Loser, we can't wait for you to create the losers. Fellow losers. No, that's not nice. We're not losers. Not all of us. We'll judge everyone on a individual basis here. After e takes f4. Welcome, World Loser. Seriously. We've got a problem with queen b6, queen b2. The classic pawn grab. I'm not overly concerned about it, but there will be issues because like the knight is not protected on c3. So this is clearly like critical. Check. I don't know. King h1, queen b2. And now the knight is hanging. And moves like queen d2, you know, could be complicated. Black has knight h5. We can hit this. Knight takes g4. So there are various things going on. It's not like we're just trapping the black queen. Alright, anyway, this is not the point. The point isn't... Right. The point isn't that he played well. The point is that he won. I can't think like that. I'm sorry. I want to analyze every game, you know, like for its truth. I believe in truth in chess. Not lies. If we make an honest mistake, but I want to analyze it, you know, honestly. All right, is queen b6 a good move? Yeah, probably. I'm checking with the oracle now. Peter is not on it. Pewter thinks that white's development here is worth more than a pawn. But the natural queen d2 might not cut it. Let's see. Why not my variation with knight h5? Oh no, there's knight a4. That throws a wrench into it. So what about knight takes g4? Wow, white has all these crazy responses. Like if knight g4, you have d4 blocking the threats. And threatening to trap the black queen now. Or just gain a lot of play with rook b1. So it's cool, like all these variations have answers. Obviously, Spectacular Camel saw everything when he allowed queen b6 check, and black saw everything. So he played d5. d5 countering the flank advance g4 with a strike in the center. Don't like black's structure, but yeah, e5 is just winning a piece, right? He's just winning a piece. Manish. Alexa, play 1 e4. Mr. Coffee's car is going to go crazy now. No, he's at the office, actually. Alexa, order Domino's. d5, e5. So black's going to be forced to sacrifice a piece for 2 pawns here. This is horrible. That's why you don't play bullet chess in rapid. Black level of play for a 2179 is that of a bullet game. It's turned off. I don't have an Alexa in my office, so there are a couple in the house though that might have heard it. Fortunately, there's no Domino's in Budapest, so that's not an issue. Knight takes g4, h takes g4. Someone was saying there was Domino's in Serbia. Is Sumaher here? We had this discussion once already. Okay, queen e1 is tempting, but it's probably not good to get on the file. I am, however, concerned about losing a 3rd pawn. If spectacular, which is hard to say, by the way, if spectacular loses a 3rd pawn, like a Tal modern Benoni type position, I'm a little concerned about white's kingside. I mean, bishop f3, bishop e5, rook e5, rook here. A little more development and white could be in trouble. So what about the old d4? Protecting that pawn might be a good idea. That backfired and cheese pizza in 15. Astrobate, did it really order pizza? I think I caused an order from Astrobate's Alexa. It's like pizza terrorism. Pizza doxing. We doxed Astrobate with pizza. Queen d2. But maybe it's best to protect the pawn, dude. I know you want to get out of the pin. So why doesn't he take here? Bishop f3, rook f3, bishop e5, and black has 3 pawns for a piece. Nice. Sushi? Mr. Coffee, it's like 1:56 in the afternoon. No, wait. It's 12:56. You mean you already had your sushi? You order sushi at work? What kind of dude's like a CEO or something? Melissa, bring in the sushi, please. He's ordering sushi for the boardroom. Alright. I don't know, Mr. Coffee. I'm not sure you really drive to work every day. Oh, you don't, right? You're at home. You're working from home. Crazy. Yeah, this is a pandemic, right? I totally forgot. It's a pandemic. You're working from home. Oh, there is that matter. Alright. What do you guys think about taking this pawn? Seriously. I mean, I realize that black doesn't have much development, but I'm going to take that. 3 pawns for a piece is something. It's better than nothing. He loses his defender on g7, but I think that's black's best chance. Give me a 3rd pawn, please. I'll have extra pawns on that pizza. Instead he plays knight d7. Alright, I'm instantly playing d4. That's done, man. I guess he has c5. Still, black can fight on if d4, trying to break up the structure. But now there could be more complications like knight here, knight here. Black structure also becomes broken. Alright, let's see. Bishop g5. That's kind of a weird move. Check. King h1. Bishop takes, rook takes, knight takes e5. 3 pawns for a piece. Pizza. I had mashed potatoes and pork for dinner. I'm kind of missing pizza. I didn't have pizza for a long time. Knight takes e5, rook h3, h5, rook f1. Massive development lead. Rook e6. Black would have 4 pawns for a piece after queen takes b2, which is a lot of pawnage. I don't know, Spectacular Camel. I'm doubting this. I'm losing faith in your position. The computer is calling it equal. The Oracle says it's equal. Welcome, Boy49, by the way. We can't talk about food. Alright, rook e6, d4. Finally, after we lost our 4th pawn, he's playing this. This has got to be a mistake. Inviting knight g4 or knight c4. I think knight g4 might be better. That's forever knight. I think that he's in big trouble here, honestly. d4 is falling. Black already has 3 pawns for a piece. Now his knight is stationed on g4. Luckily, the guy played knight c4. Leaving his f7 kind of weak. White plays queen f4. Man. Maybe you can sacrifice a piece with knight d5, but it looks very desperate. Why can't black play like rook f8 here, honestly? Now he's sacked on d5. Brilliancy or blunder? I think this is close call. Could be a brilliancy. You could sack a rook on h5, actually. I mean, surely this is not enough. Just thinking of h5, but this looks like the best try. Black was scared to take it. What happens if he takes it? It looks bad. I mean, at this point, white is like down a knight. Just down a knight. But for example, here, there's an awesome variation, rook b3. That looks problematic, dude. The river guarding rook. So nice sacrifice, Yabatis. It looks like it was a good practical try in a non-perfect world. Queen b2. Now we need to break up the pawn structure of death. You just went for material. I was going to sack a piece again. Honestly, black would probably sack the exchange if he did that. If he keeps this structure, it's hard to get in as king. And that's why I think black is doing pretty well. I didn't like f5. f5 was a really funky move. You drink 2 pots a day. 2 pints a day. Or 2 pots. Queen takes b2, knight c7. Good move, rook e8. And now knight e6, rook e6, d5. And now black has to scramble to save the game somehow. But it looks like that king side is... The king side is sort of tough, but it doesn't matter. Black just loses based on this tactic. Wow. So d5 is decisive. Winning the c4 knight. Nice job, Ubatis. Cracking him with tactical flair. You didn't even take the knight on c4. What? This is pretty strong. Maybe it's not so easy. OMG. That dude seriously may save the game. For black. Rook c2. Wow. So it's not so simple. So the point is you take first on c6. And now you're threatening to take it with check. And you're threatening c7. How big a threat is c7? Well, you're actually threatening bishop d5 check too. And that's the decisive factor. Wow. Check. Oh man. And a beautiful finish. Rook takes h5, made in a few. Nice attack, man. 2 bishops, weak in kingside. I think black probably shouldn't have played f5. Good game. So Ubatis now 2200 in rapid. Great job. Congratulations to him. BG says, what? Yeah, me too. Been listening to them since I was a teen. That's a long time ago. I don't know what you guys are talking about. We're back to game 2. Mule Skinner. 2203. Congratulations. Guys, please support the stream. Appreciate it. Any kind of bit donations. Hype trains we get going today. Great hype train last week. Alright. Don't forget, tomorrow we're back with Blitz at 11 a.m. Open Blitz challenges on Fridays. No stream Saturday, but I will be streaming for the Simul Sundays at 6:30 CEST here on Sunday. Alright, game 2, Mule Skinner. It's called Mule Skinner game. Mule Skinner must be black here. Let me see if I can check my messages to see what the details were on this game. I want to request the details. 90 minutes plus 30. Let me see. That's last week's. That was last week's. No, that was correct. Okay, yeah, this is correct. 90-30 from today. This was on the 11th. Black against 1964. Felt I played a good game with black. Unfamiliar opening against higher rated opponent. Threw away in 1 move. Alright, we'll just take a look here. We will be back. Mule Skinner is black against a 1900. Online game. Wait, 90-30, right? Lots of red wine? 70. He's almost as old as me. Not too bad. Oh, Mule Skinner's here. Great, guys. Bob's here. Man, 70 is nothing. I was just checking out some players. I noticed like International Master Anthony Sadie is in his 80s, and he's still like the same rating as me. He's like low 2300, around 2300. I guess he hasn't played since COVID, but I respect players who are still playing in their 80s, man. That's awesome. A couple years ago, Anthony Sadie, who's in his 80s, beat the 2019 National Open. One GM, drew another. People can still play, man. 70's not old. All right, Mr. Coffee, 45. Maybe not the best number. That's not a lucky number, Mr. Coffee. Let's go on to 46. All right, so we got Mule Skinner playing black. It is an over-the-board game. I'm sorry, I misread something in your message there, Mule Skinner. That gave me the impression, you said you played it today, but it was over the board. You just played it. So that's crazy. Is anyone here 49? Not me. Should I have sent comments? No, comments are optional. I do the comments, usually. You're welcome, but not necessary. Nobody in here at 49, Bob. Sorry. You must be mistaken. I can't think of any 49-year-olds. Mule Skinner's 49. Alright, we got one. So knight f3, d5, g3. Well, I know, Mule Skinner, you said you got, like, well, whatever. You've got a lot of practice against me playing this type of stuff. I mean, we've played 200 games plus. Mule Skinner ruined your joke. Alright, g3, knight f6, bishop g2, c5. So I've been trying to play primarily like reverse Grunfeld type of stuff. You're gonna say I donate 25k US dollars. You should go join the Lei Fuang, whatever his name is, stream. The guy who keeps putting in these like ridiculous stream titles where he's like gonna donate $20,000 so he can get clickbait watchers. I mean, dude, whatever. That's sad. Clickbait stream titles. Get a life, dude. Real chess players don't need clickbait stream titles. You only need that if you're not a real chess player. Anyway, we don't have that problem here. Bishop g2, c5, c4. Okay. Well, I mean, this is standard stuff, dude. Though I particularly probably didn't play this a lot because I don't really like playing the reverse Benoni. Mule Skinner has played Tarash-based stuff. But I mean, principally speaking, I guess the best move is d4. I played this position with white against Bob's hero, Mark Esserman. I think I played the reverse Benko. This exact position. We had a crazy draw. It got really messy in time pressure. This was like 6 years ago. It had to have been like 6 years ago. Don't know if that was the last time I played that guy, but I really went for it with white against him. That's the sharpest way for white to play on d4. I don't know if it's better to play the Benko or better to like transpose. I think the Benko is probably better than doing the Benoni reversed. But anyways, Mule Skinner just plays knight c6, and then white probably should go into a Tarash, Catalan / Tarash with d4. That seems like the best. All right, we've got CD, but that's actually CD is a semi-tarish, right? CD knight d5. We've got Schieber-Spieler style stuff here. After d4, cd4, knight d4, knight b4, some kind of semi-tarash fianchetto variation. It's actually not a semi-tarash. I don't know what this... This is actually a symmetrical English. If black hasn't played e6 yet. Yeah, for $20,000, Bob. Sponsored by... Alright, c5, c4, knight c6, castles, death match, cage match, e6. But he castles e6. Now white really has to play either cd or d4. Asterbeat, thanks for the donation, dude. 500 bits, taking the lead along with Cheeseman. The Cheesemate. Alright, Cheesemate and Asterbait. It rhymes. Both have donated 500 bits this week toward the cage match. e6, but this is a really weird move by Muleskinner's opponent, knight a3. I mean, obviously you play a normal ready here with like b3. Kramnik Yakovenko, not necessarily a draw. I like both those players. Those are some serious chess players. Those guys don't need... They don't need fake stream titles to grab attention. They just play well. Alright. But knight a3... Knight a3 is weird, dude. So basically white has nothing special to do. If you just maintain the tension here, you have a good game. Don't do d4, don't take. He has nothing to do. He has no d4 with a knight on a3, his knight is misplaced in a Grunfeld type structure. I've tried this kind of idea later on with white. It's interesting, but it's nothing special. So all they can do is kind of hang out and play b3, bishop b2. Interesting, though, keeping the tension. This has got to be wrong. I don't know. I think objectively now, I would play maybe e3 and the reverse. I do this with black, actually. e3, stopping or discouraging d4, then b3, bishop e2, queen e2. Bob, you're so binary. Alright. Knight a3. Bishop e7. d4. So what I'm thinking here is, what is that knight doing in this type of position? Not... Yeah, we're going to play against the knight on a3, hopefully. In other words, castle's good. Has Bob been banned by Twitch yet? We're all looking forward. We can all hope. My timeouts are not enough. Alright. CD5. What do we do? Gotta be ED5. I mean, theoretically, you could play knight takes D5. Carlson versus Grover. Super Grover. I know he's like an Indian player. But it's funny that his first name is S. I watched a little Sesame Street. I might, you know. I've been known to bust out the Sesame Street. And Super Grover is rated 2484. Bob and Coach Osh should get a room together. I think you would enjoy it. CD5, ED5, knight C2. That doesn't look right. Yeah, because Chessbay wouldn't know a chess stream if she saw one, right? Seriously. Alright. Knight C2. E takes D5. A chess TikToker. Maybe. You have to understand how to play chess to appreciate a chess stream, I guess. So castles, CD5, ED5, knight C2. Well, to have a chess stream. Rook E8, and this knight is bad. I like this so far for black. It's a decent Tarash. Rook E1, bishop F5. I mean, I'm wondering at some point if you should consider pushing, I guess. Because at the end of the day, I think you're going to have the IQP position and the control of D4. Bob, don't forget, this is a serious stream. This is not my Blitz stream. So don't go into your shenanigans too much today. I don't like when the simul stream and the serious streams get hijacked by your shenanigans. We try to be serious in the analysis streams. Don't go too far. We don't want you to be the star of the show here. Knight C2, Rook E8, Rook E1, Bishop F5. What about C4? You're going to break it up? White's going to break it up with some kind of pawn break? The knight on C2 just keeps glaring out at me like that is not good. However, if there is a change in pawn structure, the knight might end up, being relatively decent in this game. I'm just saying, we have to think about playing C4. Particularly because White's knight is on the wrong freaking square. In a Swedish variation or whatever, it's supposed to be on C3. It's vital. It puts pressure on D5. It supports the break with E4. What is his knight doing on C2? Is it going to go to E1? So I would think like C4 would be a serious consideration here. In the event of like B3. I mean, I like Rook E8 in general, Mule Skinner. It's a good move. But I think at all points we need to consider C4. See? Stockfish 13 immediately wants to play C4. I'm not saying you have to play that way, but it is a credible way to play. I think particularly in this particular position, because of the position of the knight on C2, we're taking the maximum advantage of that knight with a C4 push. With a knight on C3, it wouldn't be that strong. I don't see how this knight really, functions. What is it doing? It's a blockader against our passed pawn. So let's see, C4, B3. Let's do not even Rook E8. Take. I don't really want to take, actually, if I don't have to, but yeah, there's crazy variations. C3. I mean, this is a totally alien position. You would never get something like this happen in a normal Tarash. C3. Okay, this is difficult to play. Very, very strange. Anyway, I made a point. Like, C4 was a valid option. Rook E8 is a good move. Rook E1 is a really weird move. Taking away his knight's only maneuver square with knight E1, knight D3. Honestly, maybe the only way of getting that stupid knight back in the game. Perhaps not, though. If C4, I think now it's even better. Now improved. Because he doesn't have this later. But still. Okay, bishop F5 is a fine move. He takes. You know, you took, he gets the square d4. This is what I figured. So at least you've got an active IQP, but his knight has a square. Bishop g4. Now, maybe white should consider bishop g5, yes? Scar. Elon Musk. He only goes for girls with alien scar tattoos. Whatever, man. I don't have a problem with that. That's cool. I'm just thinking of random stuff to joke about. We're up to date. We're up to date on the random celebrity tattoos. So bishop g4, knight c6. Gotta stay up to date when you're a chess streamer. Or in the debate team. But I'm thinking bishop g5 because that bishop sucks, right? Still not enough. Black has a good game here. You're very active. Yeah, this is pretty optimal. Bishop g5 isn't going to cut it. So I guess the old bishop e3. And black could sack the exchange. But probably not going to happen. So bishop e3. Looks like a good move. Yay or nay? Bishop g4 loses a pawn, no? I didn't consider that. Bishop g4 loses a pawn? Say what? You're going to get me here? You got this? What? No. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Bishop g4 loses a pawn? What? Queen c2? What is happening? I don't think so. Don't you have like queen b6 and guard this? I gotta believe you have a good position here. Oh, bishop g5. You mean bishop takes f2 check? You have bishop f2 check. I didn't even think of it. That's even better. But I mean, both positions are good. Yeah. Alright, never mind. It's not a good move. I think he should play bishop e3, I guess. What else is there? e3. It's disgusting. I thought e3 was even worse. Maybe it's not, but white's clearly worse. So he takes, and obviously this is, in the case of queen c2, well, you have knight e4, you have a lot of good moves. Yeah, that's possible too. So white's just worse. And now this pin is extremely unpleasant. You know, it's funny, all the games that I play with you, Mule Skinner, and honestly, I used to try to play open games against you because you seem to like closed positions so much. You're actually, we had a bunch of games where I was playing like the other side of like this type of position. So you've gotten some practice in these sort of structures. I would have played better than your opponent, obviously, in that type of structure. But now you played rook c8. That move feels kind of routine. Yeah, I mean, absolutely knight e4. And knight e4 an advantage to black, but it's not so easy to see how like black's gonna win. Queen f6 is a threat. Bishop e4 is an idea. d4 is an idea. Yeah, these are the various threats, I would say. Queen f6, d4, bishop e4. But Mule Skinner chose to play rook c8. I mean, this is a passive move. Rook c8 can't be right. I don't want to play that move even when like it's almost forced. Gotta find something more active here. Alright, you played rook c8, queen c2, and now queen b6. Yeah, he got out of the pin. I mean, knight e4 would have been appropriate instead of rook c8. But still he has an advantage. I'm not sure about queen b6. It's okay, though. I mean, normally you have like knight c3, knight a4. White doesn't have a knight on the queen side here. So this move is reasonable. It pressures this diagonal, too. And there's no time for like bishop e2, bishop d4. I mean, this would be a normal move if white has time to play this, this, and this, maybe. Or just try to counter your threats. Count your chickens. Can we go psychopathic? This type of line is unclear. A little bit over the top. For example, white played bishop d2. Safer, but what about that bishop? Finally, knight e4, hitting his dark square bishop, and he just plays grovelly for a draw here, bishop c3. Yeah, I mean, so knight f2 is a big question, dude. Byrne versus Fischer, knight f2. Oh, is that right, Uber driver? Robert or Donald? You're not talking about the Donald Byrne Queen Sacrifice game, are you? I don't know all the Byrne versus Fischer games, so he probably played a lot of games with Robert Byrne, right? Knight f2. Is that the My 60 memorable? Oh. I don't remember the game again. You know, he's got many games with Robert Byrne, probably, but I don't have them memorized, obviously. You do. It's your era. No, the game of the century is Donald Byrne. That was not Robert Byrne playing white. That's his brother. Robert was a strong grandmaster who played into the 90s. I actually played in the same tournament with him in the 1993 or 1993 New York Open, I think. He was like in his 70s. I saw him live, so to speak. What about knight f2? Is this good? It looks freaking good. Good God. Similar to the other variation, the engine says unclear. Rook e3, bishop d4. I mean, there's not a lot of moves here for white. Bishop d4. You got to calculate really well here. Bishop to c5, rook f2, bishop e6, rook to h2 check, king g2. Yeah, and this is dodgy. I don't love this. Black sacrifices a piece so he can like fight for a draw. That doesn't quite work, unfortunately. So Mule Skinner had to bail out and take the bishop, which I don't blame him. You know, this is a safe move, better for black. White can't take with the queen because of bishop e4, so I don't think this is a big deal though for white. I mean, he could trade the pawn off with c4. Black is like microscopically better. Neither side has a perfect pawn structure. Black has a tiny advantage, probably. So now you play g6. Yeah, Uber Driver is suggesting bishop h5. Maybe a better version of g6. I don't know. But g6 isn't bad. Maybe we can reposition our bishop back to g7. I'm not sure if Mule Skinner wanted to do that. But it's an idea. Mule Skinner, how many mules have you skinned lately? Knight d4 is a strong move, of course. Yeah, I suspect g6 was a tad slow. So we want to be mobilizing those hanging pawns. Even this. Switching diagonals, maybe, so you can push this up. It's a tough position. I think it's equal, or just a tiny bit better for black. G6 is the number one move, and it's a tiny bit better for black. G6. All right, knight d4, queen c7, bishop f1. Okay, that's a weird move. What the heck is bishop f1? What kind of move is that, honestly? Bishop f1? You don't know your old school chess players well enough. You're too young, Coach Ah. You're just a... You were making pee-pee in your Pampers when I started playing chess. I'm just kidding around. It's an inside joke. Bishop d7. No, Robert Barron was a strong grandmaster, dude. He was like 25-75. His brother was just an ordinary IM, like me. Queen c7, bishop f1, bishop e6, a4. Why is white retreating his bishop back to f1? It doesn't make any sense. I mean, you don't need to play that to play c4. And the bishop is putting pressure on the center. He's got e4 and c4. Disciples. We're going to start that again. Robert versus Spassky. It's not like Jack Collins really taught people like Fischer. They just hung out at his house or something. Like he gave them a place to play. I don't think he really had like disciples. Like he was Nimzovich or something. He wasn't a high-level player. Alright, g6, knight d4, queen c7, bishop f1, bad move, bishop b6. Staying on the diagonal. Interesting, because I thought your bishop should probably go back to g7. Anyway, I'm spending too much time on this. Bishop b6, a4, a5, rook b1. Bishop moves again. And now we've got a problem. We can't play c5. Or if we do, we're going to lose the b5 square. Trust me, Coach Ah, you're very difficult to convince. But Jack Collins was not a strong player. Alright. a4, a5, rook b1, bishop a7, h5, rook b1, rook b8, rook b8, rook b8, rook b8. Vacuum, bishop takes b8, c4, c5. And yeah, I mean, white's not really in any danger. He's got a good knight. He's got the white squares blockaded. He's okay. Now he needs to trade the queens. Wow. Oh my god. That's why he played bishop f1. Just when black looks slightly better, though it's still probably a draw. Bishop c4, and you have to play king g7. I did this in the semi-Slav against Ron Henry once, like snuck the queen g6 on him. National master. The only time I ever won a Moscow variation with white, I think. He blundered queen takes g6 check. Yeah. So, how much better is black here objectively? Just slightly, dude. I mean, it's probably a draw. The computer doesn't even think black's better. That hurts. And now bishop takes f7 check, king f8. Wow. I mean, is that the best he's got? Maybe objectively white shouldn't trade queens. right? I mean, now black's king safety is totally shot. Yeah, I mean, typical to miss a tactic when, yeah, white never had any threats the entire game. I do it all the time. I lose tons of winning games. More than the losing ones. Yeah, totally understandable mistake by Muleskinner. But I think you misplayed this bishop, maybe. I don't know. But let's see what white should do here. I mean, he could try to keep the queens on the board, right? If he keeps the queens on the board, let's say queen d3. It's your king that's in danger, not his. But this is 2 pawns up. It should be enough, I guess. Bishop f7, king f8, queen g7, king g7. So 2 pawns up. I guess we're arguing over nothing. Theoretically, white should be winning. 3 connected passed pawns. No contest. So you resigned here or lost on time? It doesn't matter. Even if you get opposite color bishops, yeah. This is like the worst possible pawn distribution. White has 3 connected pawns, so he doesn't have to keep the queens on. Alright, Muleskinner. No, you had a good game. I mean, black never should lose, obviously. Winning was not an easy matter, though. I mean, I'm not sure. I like the way you handled the opening and the early middle game. I think, you know, somehow it went wrong. It started to go wrong a little bit with rook c8. You know, I don't like necessarily playing that. You could play more actively with knight e4 here. Alright, next is Berserker. Otherwise known as Sadamasa. I'm never right, Coach usually wrong. 500 bits, Asterbate. Alright, what's up? 500 bits from Asterbate. Nice job, man. The lead donor. The organ donor. Quality donation from Asterbate. 500 bits. Alright, Berserker's white. Sadamasa. Sorry, black. I just did that. I just made my screen. Wow, how did I do that? Wow. That's crazy. I realized I have a hotkey that I didn't know about that makes my Streamlabs screen like blow up and get in front on the screen. That was bizarre. That was bizarre. Alright, it did it again. When I press the F key, F is flip on... Wow, it's not working. So I have to click before I press F. It freaked me out. Alright. Yeah, I mean, like, Jack Collins had this team with the prodigies later, and you would assume he was some, like, famous chess coach. But he was more like a patron than a coach, I think. Alright. The patron saint of junior chess or something like that. Before my time, though. I wasn't a Collins kid. Well, actually, it's not before my time. I mean, there were other top prodigies my age who were members of the Collins kids. They had these, like, green jackets or something in the late 80s. I never got any support. E4, C5, knight F3. I was always an outsider. Even now. So Sadamas is playing the Najdorf. Let's see what we got. I wish I could get some open Sicilians. Knight C3, A6, Bishop G5. Bishop G5 is coming back a little bit. Boy 49 gave me 549 for the green jacket. Maybe I could buy me a Collins Kids jacket on eBay. An old one. Probably Josh Whiteskin was one of the Collins kids. Maybe I can get his old green jacket. It's not quite the Masters, but it's close. Yeah, I'm Jimmy Connors' generation. I mean, at least I watched Jimmy Connors when I was little. What's up, Princess Chess? Thanks for tuning in. E6, F4, main line. However, there's some crazy stuff going on, right? People play like H6, Bishop H4, Queen B6 now. Like the pseudo poison pawn is a thing. I don't know anything about the playing of the poison pawn for both sides. I'll tell you guys a story. When I was like 12 years old, a friend of mine bought a book on the poison pawn. Then it was like too much for him. So he like offered to trade me his poison pawn book for something else. So I traded him another book, I think on the English or something, for the poison pawn book. But it was like overwhelming, you know. Chapter 2.673, and I was like 1400. That was the stage when I was like 13 years old and 1400. I was just like, all right, I am not going to play the Najdorf. You know, this is out of control. The variations of the poison pawn are extremely memorization intensive. Grabbing here. I never liked memorizing 20 move variations. That seems like not really playing chess. We're not thinking for ourselves, so I'm out of my depth here. But anyway, we'll do the best we can. I just wanted to point out that is kind of a topical variation in last year. See, 2017, 2016, 2000. So a lot of people are playing this. Queen B6, traditional. Plugievsky, even worse. Walter Brown used to play the Plugievsky, I think. He was hardcore. Walter Brown, Shabalov, or something. Anyway, I mean, this seems like a safe variation for black, I guess. Queen F3. Well, not that safe. Queen C7, safe relative to the poison pawn. Castles. I remember one time against Jorge Zamora's father, who was like a 2250, I was 2400 and Zamora was like 2200. The guy was like 2200, but he knew the variation. Somehow I got transposed into one of these by a Scheveningen, and white played bishop g5, and I was like, almost miracle that I didn't lose and I got a draw. I ended up like playing b5 in the wrong position, and white like sacked a piece for 3 pawns, and I was like pooping my pants against a player who was 200 points lower, but I managed to draw. I don't think I've ever played the Najdorf by choice. Maybe a couple times by accident. Castles, knight on bd7, bishop d3, b5. Apparently this is all book. Rook e1. I mean, when do we get to the h6, g5 sort of sacrifices here? b5 is dubious? Well, I mean, it's like one of only 2 moves that's played in this position. How dubious can it be? Its score is actually better than h6. So I'm not sure it's truly dubious. Stockfish13 says the best move. 26 depth cloud analysis. I don't know, man. I mean, I can't see any evidence. This momentary analysis isn't enough, but I don't see how we can call it dubious. Maybe the whole variation isn't good enough. Alright. Castles queenside, knight on bd7, bishop d3, b5, rook e1, bishop b7. I don't believe you that it's dubious. Queen g3 is the main move. He played a3. I think this looks okay. One of the things I don't like about this position for black is the fact that our rook can't go to c8 and we can't do exchange sacrifices on c3 here. That's sort of sad. That makes me sad. That's the only idea I can think of for black here. Who are you playing, by the way? This is a random 2100, and he made it. He made it to move 12 in a Najdorf. I have Grandmaster preparation. I couldn't really get into it because I just never played the Najdorf. I had the book in my storage unit. That's Plugievsky's big book on his analysis and games, featuring primarily the Najdorf. Never got into it. I never really got into Polu. H6, too much for me. And now you've got G5. This is a classic idea, right? To try to win control of the E5 square, even if we have to sacrifice a pawn. Throster Thorlson with white, 2008 against Romain Edouard. Pretty nice win for the Icelander. The semi-retired Icelandic Grandmaster taking out a young Romain Edouard in 08. Nice job, dude. He won with white here, but you played Rook G8. I mean, Rook G8, dude. That's more unusual. G5 is a standard idea. So how does this work? Take Knight E5. What happens if Queen G3? I'm just asking a stupid question. Maybe then your Rook G8 move starts to kick some butt. Seriously, check this out. Queen G3, Rook G8. I'm starting to like the look of that. Maybe very interesting. That's why Queen G3 is not good, presumably. Wait us to play like Queen E2. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of variations like this, so I'm completely clueless. But I mean, I would assume that's the standard idea. What if he just takes it and then goes here? You know, if you take it, what's going on? White goes back here? Or can he take the pawn? Why are there no games with this? Black played this. What did we miss? We're just like screwed on the F file? This is not that obvious, is it? I mean, clearly we may have to castle queenside and hold our breath. And it looks scary. But I'm not convinced that black is done yet. What are you going to do? Like Rook H1? The engine doesn't think it's that clear. So it's interesting. But apparently this is better. Actually, it's not so clear. Engine is now evaluating these two moves pretty closely. Looks like it's very close. It's starting to like my move better. See the instinct? Nah, it's wavering back to the Edouard move. Knight FG4. Alright guys, anyway, I think that's your best shot. G5. Instead you played interestingly though, Rook G8. Okay, creative. Clearly threatening G5. What happens if he goes back to like F2? And he's like, screw you, if G5 I'll play G3 and just keep the cohesiveness of my pawn structure. That's what I'm worried about. See, that's the problem. This guy, I don't know, man. This guy is like God. He's Najdorf God. Sada Masagana, who is your opponent here? By the way, this is an online game here on lichess. This was a good reaction. I mean, bishop f2, g5, g3. I'm not stronger than depth 22 Stockfish, but I have better instincts. Unfortunately, its calculation basically, like, you know, almost always beats me. But I think my instincts can often be good. But the problem is now you're basically out of plans. This just didn't work. Now the king isn't safe. You can't castle kingside, castle queenside is dangerous, and you don't have any plan. I mean, the nice thing is that his queen is on this diagonal, but I assume he could pull it back to like e2. When ultimately, eventually he's going to be like threatening e5. That's right, Uber driver, good call. Always constructive. I appreciate Uber driver. Always focused, always constructive, always focused on the game. Yeah, exactly. He's going to pull the queen back here, and then it's e5, and it's problematic for black. Guys, tune in tomorrow. We're going to be playing Blitz. Blitz for the mindless. Every Friday. For those of you with ADD, we'll play Blitz chess on Friday morning. If you can't do analysis, we've got something for you. So, I think this was a fail. Rook g8 was artificial. He refuted it. But, you know, a strong player. Obviously. Perfect move, queen e2. Yeah, he like strategically refuted your plan. Now the question is, can he finish you off? Do you have something like d5? There's no way. You tried to do it. Blitz makes you dumb, but bullet makes you dumber. That's gonna be our new expression. We gotta modify that and make it sound a little better, but that's the basic idea. T-Cash. Right now during pandemic chess, puzzle buzz and bullet chess are nice, funny kiddie games to watch, you know. But real chess is built on in-depth analysis and serious chess. So does Sada Masagana have enough here after Rook g2? You're dancing on the edge of the precipice. I mean, the one thing White hasn't done is play King b1, which would be a good prophylactic move. I'm concerned about Black, you know, ultimately, the king not being as safe. Here White played h3. I bet that's not like the computer move. I am correct. Computer don't like h3. So he's not a computer, which is a relief. Although he's played very well. Ironically, the computer wants to play this, which would lead to a repetition of position. Maybe he did mess up. Maybe queen e2 is too paranoid. He doesn't have to play queen e2. He wanted to play e5. Your rook's going to get trapped on h2. And it's going to be a problem. So he could go back, admit he made a mistake, and then something else. Problem is, can he do like rook g1 or something? Does he want to do that? White probably needs to find like subtle moves here. I still think this is a good idea. King b1. Black can't increase the pressure on e4, can they? Well, Canada's tournament coming back, you know. That's at least going to be some sort of real chess to watch. I can't wait to see number 4 streaming again. Bob will be... You can't mess around on number 4 stream, Bob. I'm sure that doesn't fly. The opponent here is a strong Serbian tournament player. Oh wow, he's a FIDE 2154. So that's not surprising. All right, this is definitely a guy who knows some theory. I'm playing a mainline Sicilian, like 15 moves. Um, yeah, he's human. Rook g2, h3, and now Sadamasa played d5. Obviously, this is risky because the pileup on I-95. There always could be something to break without, without castling can always be dangerous. Major moments, so either e5 or takes. Takes looks more dangerous. Check is nothing. Drops a piece here. So now, is there anything funny like f5? Black has some weird pins like bishop h4, but I mean this is the sort of break that white should be aiming for. I don't know if it drops a piece, I guess. Damn. You're just on f4. Doesn't drop a piece, but it doesn't look good. f5, queen f4 check, bishop e3. That doesn't look right. Something doesn't look right about this. Man, okay, so he really does need to play king b1. After knight takes, bishop takes, he played this and drops his f-pawn with check. Yeah, I mean, h3 was a bad move, I guess. It's like too costly in terms of time. He should have gone back. So this d5. What about pushing? You're on him. I'm like troll on the roll. I don't calculate. Alright. So he takes here, dropping the pawn with check. What? How does that work, master? King b1. Maybe rook takes? Is rook takes even better? White has a nice tactic here. Bishop takes b5 check. And I'm not feeling too well after that. I hope that doesn't hurt us. Wow. I thought you were going to have to play king d8. Anybody for king d8? What happens on king d8? I don't even know. I mean, there's knight check here. There's queen takes queen. Rook takes. Rook g8 check. King c7. And then rook takes rook. Pawn takes bishop. This looks unclear. Maybe black is better here. 2 bishops for the rook. Yeah, it's like winning. That's not good enough for white. He has this move, though. Bishop takes a8? What? Bishop takes, pawn takes, queen takes, check, king here. Oh, well, anyway, it doesn't matter. What am I saying? Queen f2? Wait, king d8. What did we say? King d8, queen takes, rook takes, check, king here. Oh, I forgot it was defended. Sorry. So that variation is... Anyway, it doesn't matter. We don't need more than one refutation. Check. Takes. So what's up with king d8, knight c6 check? King c7. Queen takes. 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 Why not rook b2? Rook b2 needs to turn the board around. You're that guy in Romania who played me with the board backward. I wondered who that was. Guy beat me in the pub. Rook takes g2. Alright. Queen takes check. King here. You want to play rook takes g2 at some point. This is another possibility. That's a problem. Is that our problem? How big a problem is that? Big problem? Queen takes queen. Sorry, queen takes that. Yeah, this is a big problem. Not clear, man. It's making my head spin. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. This is why I don't play the Najdorf. So rook takes g2 is totally winning for black. Everything is totally winning for black. Wow. It's just totally winning for black. Yeah. I mean, that's it. Everything is winning. He could have played queen f3. It's amazing how it's just totally lost for him, though. You know, I can't blame him for playing this almost. So this is like almost lost. Queen e3. He's like clearly worse. Now you just castle queenside whenever you want to. And you're completely fine. And black's just better. Takes. Rook takes. This is the better chance. This isn't that simple. Black's king is still a little open, and the fact that he has the two bishops gives him the advantage. And what did white really do wrong? He basically played a perfect game until, what, move 18? He played a perfect game through move 17, and then could just send you back with queen f3 with the advantage. But he made one mistake. He played this. So what about now? e5? Yeah. Computer has e5. So e5, knight e4. What about sacks here now? Nothing. But I don't know. The thing is f2. What's he gonna do? You have to take it. Is this really good? Bishop takes e4. Knight takes e4. Knight takes e4. Wow. This is messed up. I mean, I thought that black is better here. That's crazy. I totally thought black is better. And it's just like lost. Esserman would have seen that though. He's big on this kind of move, right? Yeah, I feel like we're turning into the Esserman stream. 3-hour analysis of the Najdorf with a sacrifice on e6. That's a crazy line. Did you see this, Sadamasa? Because this is just totally like game ending. You have to take with the pawn, it looks like. Not to allow that. I would have assumed like you're totally out of the woods here. Everything's okay. And this guy's got this move out of the blue. I feel like it's fair though, you know. Black should have. I mean, white should have something. You're not castled. Your king is exposed. Damn, that's harsh, though. Takes. Queen h5, check. King f8. h6. I'm bad at calculating, too. Don't feel bad. I just don't go into positions like this, because I know that I'm bad at calculating. Najdorf is maybe not the best opening if you're bad at calculating. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that. But that was hard for the guy to see. I mean, he didn't see it. He thought you were fine too. Thus, he wanted to open the game. So did I. And now you're just totally winning. Alright, guys. Is the end of the game. Now that king looks pretty secure. On a dark square. He's got the 2 pawns and the bishop on e7 to protect him. And black's just like up a piece. Nice move, avoiding exchanges of queen, or rooks, excuse me. Yeah, you just trade. I was thinking rook b8. Yeah, there's a lot more games, B-Jack. I guess I'm taking too long. I got distracted. We're only on our 3rd game. Gina Rook is next. Followed by Uber. We got a way to go. This is one of your countrymen, apparently playing white. I thought rook b8 looks pretty brutal. Threatening queen a3. That'd be harsh. If you get this move, that's pretty much like an Aster mate. Hard to answer queen a3. So he played rook a6. I'm not leaving that back rank open. But I guess it didn't matter. How safe that king is. Snug as a bug in a rug. Ooh. Rook takes c2 is beautiful. He's got to take it, man. What happens? Queen g6? Is it this? The Walk on the Wild Side? The Velvet Underground? What are we doing here? Oh, that's mate in 2. Sweet. That's a sweet mate. Look at that. Epaulette mate. Epaulette-y. Why don't I get to let them play their Sicilian stuff? Yeah. Because you can suffer from epilepsy too. Epilepsy is not a joke. That's brutal. Rook takes c2 is nice. He can't calculate. Another one. Oof. Good game. Alright. So Gina Rook is next. No. I lied. Uber Driver's next, then Gina Rook. Okay, Uber Driver. Sorry for the misorder. Uber Driver is playing with white. The Uber White. Uber Driver doesn't play the Pirtz defense, right? Karpovian. Classical Pirtz. The craziest move this guy played against me the other day, e5. I was like, what? All my life, I never realized that black actually can play e5 here. Pretending it's the King's Indian classical. That's really weird. Not easy completely to refute. I'm surprised more people don't play that. You know, it's not that easy. White has like very few wins in the Opening Explorer here. Kind of boring. Nah. Yeah, man. Sokolov, Halifman, Harry Schussler, Mikolas Manik, and Gordievsky say black can play e5. I played this, this, but I looked at this today, and it looks like maybe knight takes e5 is more accurate. And white didn't win a single time. It's unbelievable. 4 games, 0 wins for white. It's just more evidence that my classical Pirc is just lame for white. Black can get away with playing e5. Objectively, maybe white should play like rook e1. Like Constantine. We'll just play rook e1. We don't have to do anything. I was sad when I realized that Constantine Lerner was dead. Very strong grandmaster had passed away years ago. I never realized. A6. This is a good move. Modern interpretation of the black side of the classical Pirc. Much better than c6. And now Uber Driver's in the classic conundrum. What to do. A4, B6. You're playing against Sebe Attila. It looks like rook e1 is better. This is like my anti-hippo setup. I'll play rook e1 and bishop f1. If b5, we hit him with e5. This looks okay. b5 is risky. Maybe black should even consider b6. So it appears the theory is a6, knight c6 for black. I had something like this with Vadim Milov. I can't remember how the game went now. Maybe that's how it went. This is some national... No, it was the American Open. North American Open. Like 15 years ago. I lost with white. I don't remember the exact move order, but the more I think about it, you know, he might have played a6, rook e1, and then knight c6. Because I've been playing knight c6 too. You can play knight c6. I've had that played against me as well. d5. Knight c6 Uber Driver. What do you think about that? a6, a4. Classic standard response. Now knight c6. And now what do we do? Rook e1, h3. I like the way that black is playing this. The classical Pirc just doesn't cut it. So, alright, Uber Driver went for it. It looks like you have to go for it with d5. Actually, I remember Igor Novikov like whooping Wojtkiewicz once in a line like this, where he just like transferred his knight over to c4. I don't know how it went exactly. Maybe something like knight b8, knight d2, knight c4. Like it was a modern Benoni. But apparently, like knight b4 is black's main move. So this guy knows what he's doing, dude. Uber Driver, who are you playing? Uber Driver's opponent is well prepared. If it's okay for Anatoly... Anatoly was playing against Patzers, who were playing like bishop g4 and c6. All these new systems have improved black's defenses in the classical Pirc. I just don't think that it's... I've been playing it for a long time. I can assure you that it's harmless. I would play the Pirc every day if people promised to play the classical with white. It's okay, yeah, if you want an equal position. But I pretty much want to give up playing it. So, d5, knight b4, h3. Look at the score now. What does black do? E6 or something, I would think. Breaking in the center. Your opponent played c6. Is it that c6 allows like a5 is a problem? Is that an issue? c6, a5, take, bishop f5, knight d4. I like e6 better. That's Daniel Dubov. Nobody special. No, Dubov rated 666 in 2017. And Kangas. I prefer e6 for black. Let's see, c6 looks weird somehow. So this guy did the one game someone lost against Drazic, some random. He played a5, which I thought was right too. I think that's why. You know, there's something weird about that square b6. You should play a5. And Drazic just plays whatever. He plays weird openings and just like gambles and plays random stuff and just beats people somehow. But he often has like bad positions. He's selling books during the games and stuff. I saw him in the Budapest Spring Festival. He paid more attention to like selling books while he was playing. Most of the time his clock was running, he was like out in the hallway selling books. It's a good way to play tournament games. But yeah, it looks like that's wrong. So taking here is kind of lame. Now you just have like a weird classical dragon. What? I expected black to take back with a knight. Take back with a knight, maybe rook e1. And you can try to play for like bishop f1 and knight d5 with equal money. So this was a risky or more aggressive strategy by black with taking with the pawn. But maybe it's good. I mean, can't you play e5 at some point? What if you try to bust his structure? I know c2 is an issue, but he has this too. So this isn't that clear. Maybe bishop f3. Ganging up on c2 does look kind of unpleasant. So what do we do? All right, bishop e3. Uber driver against Daniel Dubov, potentially. a5. I like black here. Queen d2. Bishop a6. It's a move. White's bishop pretty much sucks, although I guess it could come to c4 and change its tune. I don't know, man. I mean, bishop a6 is not necessarily the right move for black here. This is a good dragon, or at least a decent dragon for black. Computer calls it, yeah, slightly better for black. I don't like bishop a6. It's your worst piece. It's like, hey, trade off my white square bishop. All right, deal. You know, this is pawn, 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 pawn. Like every pawn on the board is on a white square. And the guy's like, hey, let's trade off his white square bishop. Yeah, maybe not a good idea. That's going to be a problematic piece. I agree, like, bishop here could be a problem. Okay, but I mean, even if black played like this, I'd rather, like, have him trade his knight for the bishop than take that stupid white square bishop off. I'd rather have knight e6, honestly. Yeah, I mean, like this position, for example. White probably shouldn't take. He should play, like, f4. But black has a massive predominance of pawns in the center, so I think I prefer black. This was a big mistake, strategically. And the bonus is he gets to have like a rook on a6, which is always a good thing. Now at some point, queen e2. You can break his structure with e5, bring the rooks to the center. I admit his knight on b4 is still pretty strong. Trader of pieces. I'm not taking on h6, I don't think. Am I? Is he going to try to win a pawn with knight c2? Dude. Guys, I've got to go in about an hour, so I'm taking too long in these games, but my internal dialogue says that we don't even think about taking a pawn like that. Curiosity killed the cat. What a greedy bastard taking this pawn on c2. If you lose and you took that pawn, I mean, you totally deserve to lose. That's like the greediest possible continuation. Man. Play bishop h8. Salancy Emil would play bishop h8. Just for sport. The farmer. The raiding farmer. Yeah. Well, it's better than that, man. It's better than taking on h6 and taking on c2. Losing the exchange for nothing is definitely superior to committing suicide with bishop takes h6 and knight takes c2. This is suicide. Rook d1. Now you've got... It's over, man. It's e5 followed by knight g5 resigns. He did see that. That was a heads-up move. So I'm looking for forced wins here. We got to get rid of the knight on f6. Knight g5, rook f3, followed by rook d3, followed by rook f3. Like, this is the obvious way to play the position, right? But how do we dislodge the knight defending h7? I wouldn't be surprised if this was just winning for white. But you can't play f4. He could even go with like the fianchetto trying to do that. But like seriously, here, how do you stop this? Knight d4. This is just getting too weird to even analyze it. Even this position is probably better for white. Humor me. For example, pawn takes pawn, rook h4. Now it's still not over. Black has this move. Pinning said, here. So what do you guys think about this position? It's probably not enough. Probably black is winning now. I went too far. Yeah. No, it's equal. No, white is winning. Wow. Stockfish can't get enough of this. Rook b8 and white is slightly better. f4. Was that stronger than king h2? f4? Stronger. Yeah, for example. Just very strong. Anyway, like, just... white's winning. There's more than one way to kill black here, I'm sure. Ah, so you found the lever. Push the pawn, and then you got knight e4. Freeing the e4 square. Oh, that was cool, dude. Uber Driver found a very, very smart solution to the issue. What about if black can defend here with the queen, though? It's not mate. So let's say c5, or maybe we wait. We play knight d4, and when you play this, we play c5. What am I talking about? It's mate. Damn, he needs to be able to move the rook too. So you got to play it right away. Okay, c5, knight e4, and rook somewhere. And so the point is this position. Check here, and you defend the back rank. Like, defending h8, defending g7. Right? Is there a way black can survive? This looks survivable. Superdriver not necessarily winning right away. Knight g5, black to play, rook b8, knight e4, and he doesn't see the lateral. Oh, you have rook d6. Oh, the crusher. Fred the crusher. Well, he'll sack his queen, though. No, that's not clear either, right? Queen d6, knight d6, rook d6. The game goes on. This is not... I'm not sure what's going on here. Maybe black can still defend. He has to try c5. It's the f4 idea. f4. Wow, rook d7. Undermining the knight? That's sick. So rook d6. Yeah, this is not clear. Who would have found rook e7? Raise your hand if you saw rook e7. Not in a blitz game necessarily. That's crushing, dude. Rook a7 is stupid. Black needs some sort of real move in this position. Rook a8, I don't know. You just take. Ouch. Yeah, that's cool. That's a nice game, man. Anyway, the game continuation was queen b7, but that doesn't help. Mate. Alright, good game. We're on to the Gina Rook game, number 5. Kukagin. Classic Russian master Kukagin versus FM Uncreative. Thanks, guys, for tuning in. Appreciate the support from Astrobate and everybody who supported the stream. Bowie49/47. My Twitch isn't updating, so I apologize. Twitch is ridiculous. I don't know. I guess I need to put it on a different browser. I can't get the updated bit donation number. Alright. So we got Gina Rook versus FM Uncreative. Thanks, Astrobate. Boy49 with 2 gift subs this week and donated 549 bits. Astrobate with 1,100. Appreciate, man. Any other followers today? We had Cormos Chess, Safa5643 follow as well. Thank you guys for following. Alright, so this is Gina Rook, e4, c5, knight c3, g6, g3. The closed Sicilian. It's going around. Bishop g7, bishop g2, knight c6, knight on g to e2. Oh, old school. I was just recommending this to someone. There's a player who hasn't been on the stream for a long time. Can't remember the name right now, but they use the same setup that you did in a similar position. This idea with playing bishop g5 that you played on move 8, it's kind of unusual. I don't really play this setup with black, though I know some good players who do. My friend David Vigorito, for example. It's basically a reversed English. Mostly black goes for other lines like d6, e6, these type of setups. This is like slightly less common. Because oftentimes white gets a kind of scary pawn storm on the king side with the knight at f6. And I think it takes a skilled player to judge how to play these lines with black. You can see here Caruana played with black, some other good players, but I think it's easier for black to play these type of formations with knight e7. This takes a little more precision. Castles. However, this is a FIDE master. I have never seen anyone play e5 here. I mean, the plan is usually, if you want to play e5, you play with your knight on e7. And it supports f5 or f6 later. Generally speaking, you don't play e5 with knight f6. Even e6 is uncommon with knight f6. Normally black would castle. This knight will drop back to e8 if necessary, or maybe d6. This can drop back to d7. Black doesn't move the central pawns very much here at all. He'll play like rook b8 and try to play b5, b4 on the queen side. Try to make kind of minimum pawn moves with black. So this is a strange move. And he leaves the d5 square pretty weak. But mainly his knight is on the wrong square. I mean, this should be on e7. Assuming that uncreative is a he. I don't know. FIDE master uncreative. d3. Now knight to d4. This is very creative, actually. So he clearly has the wrong name. I still think this knight on e7, it could even circle into c6. So how do we take advantage of this? I think Spectacular Camel would maybe appreciate this type of position. I suppose like h3, f4, f5. I mean, this is the way to go. Maybe you take on d4 here, though. I mean, the real question, I guess. First of all, the general plan is like h3, f4. Playing for f4, f5 is the basic idea. For me, the other question is when and if we take knight takes knight or not. This move, yeah, I don't like bishop g5 necessarily in this specific position. I have seen it done, though, to provoke h6. On the idea that you bring it back to d2, and then later you can like try to prevent black from castling. Perhaps something like queen c1, attacking the h6 pawn, like d6, queen c1. I can't remember the name of the player that played like this against me, but this is done sometimes. Now black can't castle because of h6. That's the only real justification. After knight d4, bishop g5, h6, you traded off your dark square bishop, which it's not really right. You're going to miss the dark square bishop. The dark square bishop is a good piece. So it also takes out his knight in f6, which I think was on a bad square. It's a close Sicilian, Spectacular Camel. But you know, so you've done a bad thing in that you've given up your good bishop, and you've also gotten rid of a misplaced piece for black. So, yeah, I suppose you should just play bishop d2 here, once you're committed to that. I'm curious what the best move is after knight d4, according to the engine. It just plays bishop g5. It likes bishop g5. There's no way it's taking on f6, though. h6. It's taking on f6. It's seriously doing this? No way. I don't get it, man. I don't like this for white. I don't like giving up the dark square bishop. Why are we giving up our dark square bishop? That's strange. I mean, I'm definitely playing bishop d2. So I don't know what Stockfish is smoking. I don't understand, honestly. I would never play this move. Bishop g5 is a computer move. Alright. h6, bishop f6, I don't like it. Takes, knight takes d4, cd4, knight d5. White's probably slightly better based on f4 and the fact that black is undeveloped. Yeah, I was hoping black would have time for bishop g7, but I'm not sure. f4, d6, f5, crushing, and then f6 and black is lost. So it's like perfect play by white. Actually played like stockfish. c3 breaking the structure, bishop c6, take, bishop takes d5, e takes d5. Yeah, this is like a computer played white. A computer couldn't play better. Until maybe this move. Don't you have bishop h3 now? You basically played a perfect game and then didn't play bishop h3. Isn't that like game over? Well, I guess black can still play queen c7, but you essentially played a perfect game and then didn't kill him with a pretty obvious bishop h3. Oh, I'm crazy. I'm sorry. This is check. Of course. So you don't have bishop h3. It's check. I'm like seeing a pawn on f2. No, I get it, of course. You can't allow trade of queens and you're winning. Oh, this is a perfect game. King h1, h5, rook c1, h4. That was a strong move by him. Preempting the whole bishop h3 threat. But you got to admit that black is probably lost here. Also dangerous. Okay, queen here, check. This just looks hopeless for black. I really thought it was getting hopeless, but black has some survival here. This has to be winning completely for white. It's not about material, it's ops-colored bishops, of course. And bad king. The problem is you need this move, huh? What about rook b4 now? Here? That has to be winning, right? He's going to walk back now. After getting the bishop out to h6, we have to watch out the black king isn't going to walk back. Yeah, there's an insane computer move. Nobody is finding that move. Alright, I take it back. Like, Fallujah would probably find this in 1 second. That's devastating. It didn't occur to me. I guess I'm just tired, but that's pretty obvious, actually. The beautiful move. But rook b4 was winning, too. See, the problem is this is the thing he can crawl back into his cave and maybe hide before it's too late. See, you probably still have this. Is it too late now? Don't cry, wolf. Is rook c6 still winning? Yeah, it's plus 12. But if you don't see that idea, it's actually really hard to break through here. And he's starting to run away. And if you do nothing, black's going to be better with rook h4, rook h2. And there's a terrible threat of queen c1 now. And there's a terrible threat of queen e1 now. Is this enough? What do we do about the threat of queen e1? Rook e4? Is that enough? Queen c3. Is there another move? Queen a5 check b6. Queen a5 check doesn't work. I'm afraid it's not enough. Is it enough? Queen c5. Oh no. I can't believe that can work. I mean, this is too fanciful. Man, you have black completely busted. Unfortunately, this is just too much, too fanciful. Maybe for one rook, but not for two. Is this seriously still okay? He's just getting away with king here, king here. That's terrible. That's a shame. You had him completely crushed in the opening. But I don't understand. I don't understand a master playing e5 in this position. I don't get it. Like, I don't understand. Like, who knows? Who plays that? After e5, d3, d6. Even here, like, why is he playing knight d4? I mean, why not d6, developing a piece? It's so strange. His play in the opening was very, very weird. Okay, thanks for sharing the game. That was a totally winning position. We've got Astrobait up next. Astrobait, always an entertaining game from you. You're playing white. It's not a Vienna. I wanted to see another Vienna. Welcome everybody to the stream. International Master William Pascal. We're doing in-depth game analysis with the subscribers. Tomorrow we'll be back with Blitz. E4, C5. Tomorrow morning, 11 a.m. CEST. Knight C6, C3. Okay. Alapin Sicilian. Yeah, that's what black's supposed to play. Gina Rook. E6. In that position. There are setups with E5, but not in that. Not with Knight F6. Very strange play there. Okay, so D4. Now, black must play D5. This is the only move. The only. Because of the rolling pawns with D5. I feel like I've seen this game before. Knight F6 is a mistake, and that's it. This is nothing, right? I mean, even this might be interesting. I think there's a Soltis game in Confessions of a Chess Grandmaster where he had a similar position where he tried to do some crappy thing like this, and white could have refuted it by taking on C5 at the right moment, or maybe C4. I can't remember exactly how it was. But this move is like, this move D5 is a serious problem. It's not E5, it's D5. And that's why it's always very dangerous for black to put the knight on C6 and the C3 Sicilian too early. Very common mistake. I mean, E5 is just like a standard, it could transpose to a standard C3 Sicilian after a couple moves. Some position like this looks fairly normal. But D5 is a crusher. So D5, here. I suspect that black can play knight E7, but I'm wrong. Knight E7 loses right away. You can't play knight E7, just D6, and then queen E2 check, black resigns. Loses a piece. So black is screwed. Oh, I know. He's got queen e7 check. This is the only try. No, this isn't that bad. I mean, queen e7 check, bishop e2, knight e5. It's not good. Castles, and this e-file could be a bit of an issue. I don't know if white should like trade knights first or what, but probably not. So Asterby played e takes d5, black played knight e5, losing a piece. Oh, this is a tricky trick. Knight e5, queen e7. Wow, it's like Afromeyev. FIDE Master Afromeyev, or whatever he is. That's neat, dude. So what about f4? Asterby not a big player on moving the f pawn, but let's check it out. f4, d6, check. I gotta believe this is good for white, dude. Queen e2? Of course. Thank you, Dunkai Wolf. It's been a long day. I really need to do these streams like earlier. Queen e2 is just the piece up, of course. Thank you for pointing out sanity. I do some crazy stuff sometimes. So, queen e2 just piece up. Not for nothing. He's got knight d5, but white is winning. He's got two pawns, one pawn. One pawn for a piece. It's totally lost. So that's crazy, man. Queen e7, bishop f4. Asterby gives the piece back. Check. Bishop d7, bishop e5, takes on e5, and now bishop d7 check. Isn't so clear. What if he plays queen takes? Oh man. You're probably worse. Nah. I guess it's equal. Queen d7, knight d7. I guess white could still be better, actually. It's close. But Asterby lost his edge. He didn't keep the piece. Check, knight d7. You should be keeping the piece, man. You're not. Asterby is definitely not a peace officer. Bishop d7, knight d7, bishop e3, castles queenside. Dude. He's got a beautiful pawn on d5. Black commits suicide. But the pawn's not moving yet, so I mean black has time for g6. It looks like black's alright. What are you going to do? Knight d2, bishop g7, knight c4, and he's escaped from Alcatraz. Okay, I'll try. Well, thank you for the analysis. Not sure if bishop g5 better than normal. Yeah, I mean, I've seen those ideas where bishop g5 is played instead of bishop e3, Gina Rook. As I mentioned, one player here on my stream last year was doing it in different lines with knight e2, I think, with the same variation generally. Yeah, that's a cool idea. Bishop e3, castles queenside, dropping the a7 pawn. Knight f6. And now you checked. I mean, white is winning here after c4. This is a winning position. This is a winning position based on protected pass pawn on b5, d5, whatever that is. You have to understand, this is not like tactically winning, but strategically winning position. That long-term feature supported by the knight on c3 is game over at the highest level, even a moderately high level. So Asterby checks. Black should put his king on, I guess, c7, but he decides to play king d7. I mean, come on, man. Let's get serious. Queen A8 check is probably a mistake. Just C4, game over. And you've got a great path for the knight to come to B5. Don't screw around. King C7, now you have to move the queen again, check again. He goes back to B8, presumably. Wow. So he can't go to B8 because of this tactic on C5. Eventually you're going to play C4, and that's the point. You know, this is the winning idea. Thanks, Astrobate, for the game. Queen A8 check wasn't a mistake, it turns out. I didn't see this tactic. So he's check, and if he tries to go to B8, bishop takes, and the rook is on prise. Worst case scenario, Astrobate just put his queen on A5. It might be better than A7. It's possible. If black can't play king B8, I don't mind. I was afraid he was going to be able to play king B8. So this is not a good move. Queen takes B7 check, and then obviously king E8 might be an improvement on the game continuation, which was the ironic king D6. How much did you pay him off for this helpmate? Good job, man. All right. Easy win. Astrobate, you need tougher opposition. The next game is Sumayer. The Ostermate. Sumayer. Astrobate with massive donations today, up to 1,500. Single-handedly making these streams possible. You can blame him. Seriously, guys, thanks for subscribing and supporting the stream. Appreciate it. I don't do clickbait, bullet chess, puzzles, and other garbage. We try to be serious here when we're not messing around. But we are going to play some Blitz tomorrow for those of you with attention deficit. So 11 a.m. CEST. We're going to play some 5+3 Blitz. Sunday Simul at 11. Excuse me, Sunday Simul at 6:30 CEST. Mr. Coffee, thank you for being here today. Thanks, Trendle. No, puzzles aren't garbage, man, but doing puzzles for a stream is ridiculous. You know, I wouldn't waste my time with that. I've never been a big person for puzzles, by the way. You know, strategy, understanding strategy, end games. There's a lot more important things you can do to make your game deeper. You know, I think puzzles are kind of, it's like practice rather than really getting into the theory of chess. I think the strategy is the soul of chess. Puzzles are important, but it's like doing math problems rather than theory. Puzzles are strategy or end. Well, you know, it is nice that sometimes the puzzles have end games. But those things that you see on lichess are not truly puzzles, in my opinion. The theory is more important. Alright, anyways. Sumaher playing black in this game. Wheel game. I'll have to get drunk on the stream. We'll have a party stream. Alright, d4, d5, bishop f4. Ugh. Not bishop f4. Puzzle party. The wheel game. That sounds fine. We can have fun sometimes. I'm just kind of depressed because of COVID. It's hard to imagine partying in this time. Bishop f4. I like the fantasy of having a party stream, but I don't think that's happening right now. Bishop f4, knight f6, e3, the awful London system, which I hate playing against. And now, Sumaher plays bishop f5. Party therapy, good idea. I need to have more parties for therapy. So e3, I don't like the way that Sumaher plays it, but if he's a Slav defense player, you got to do this, I guess. I had some students who played the Slav, and typically they'll either play bishop f5 or maybe like c6. Typically, c6, then white takes the initiative with c4. If white understands how to play the white side of the London, they have to leave the London if black's going to play the Slav. So like c4 is the best move. White can't be doing like c3 and expect to really achieve anything whatsoever. Bijak, if your repertoire is Slav, then this is what you play, I guess. I don't know if there's theoretically anything wrong with bishop f5. You know, judging by the opening explorer, I don't really have a conclusion for you. I mean, it looks like bishop f5 and c6 are comparable. Black has a better score with bishop f5 than c6. I honestly don't really understand the difference. I guess with bishop f5 we can play a gambit. You know, I don't know. Maybe more gambit style stuff. There's possibilities to do e6. But I mean, white has to play c4. Pretty much. He's a good friend who taught you to play chess. I mean, the only other thing you can do is like e6. Maybe there's gambit style stuff here. You're basically playing the London system versus the London system. If c4, what do we do? Like c6, these are classic lines. Trying to play like queen b6 or something. I think the weaker London system players probably won't play these positions as well. But master level ones will be good. It would in the c4, the beginners don't understand how to play c4 positions. Anyways, he played what? Bishop e5 check. Okay, I don't know what this is. Cambridge Springs, like, no, this is a Slav. If bishop f5, c4, e6, you mean by bringing this out here? Cambridge Springs is like Queen's Gambit, Slav hybrid variation involving like queen a5 check. But I was thinking more along the lines of maybe luring white into taking this pawn on b7. Is there something weird we can do here? Probably not. Yeah, it looks like bishop e4 is established variation. I wouldn't call it Cambridge Springs like stuff. For me, like the Cambridge Springs is defined by queen a5. But I understand what you mean. Yeah, apparently this is a variation. It's kind of counterintuitive. I mean, normally you don't play bishop e4 in this type of setup, I would guess. But it's better than being completely passive. The worst thing you can do, I guess, is to go like ultra passive. c6, queen b3, queen c8. Kamsky probably plays games like this with black. Ugh. It just gives me the creeps. I don't want to play this. Feels very passive. Surprisingly, there's a Kamsky game with white. Or not surprisingly. Not surprisingly, actually. He probably loves to play both sides of this. Alright, yes, bishop e4 is a line. So that's a little more active than doing c6. Maybe it's something to look into. Going back, it's like bishop e5 check. Yeah, I agree with Gina Rook and you know, Sumaher. Those lines with e6 might be worth playing rather than going for c6. Well, you can't go for c5, and white just beat you to it. You can't go for c5. It's not an option. Either you play e6, you know, and like we're talking about, I don't think you can do this. There's too many. You're too far behind in development, and there's got to be something for white here. This does look like an option, though. It has a good score for black. Let's see how this would work. Queen b3, knight c6. This variation, for example, it's like a Chigorin type setup with knight on c6. It looks strange, but I guess it's okay. So that's recommended by me. What about queen b3 preventing bishop b4? Now we get some really weird stuff. Knight c6. See, now we're getting some interesting stuff. With the threat of queen b7, knight b4. No, we're getting into some good territory here. This looks like a good way to play. Well, it looks like knight c6 is like forced in that position. Now it's like too late to do anything else. It's the only way to sacrifice this pawn. Now white plays knight c3. Now you could play bishop b4. It guards bishop b4. This actually looks like a good line. But I don't, know anything about the Slav, honestly. Bishop f5. This is a very strange move by your opponent. That basically just like gives you a tempo. He just like gave you a free move. So I don't know. You have options. I mean, e6 is an option. Bishop g6 is an option. Trading is an option. And white can take with the pawn or with the queen. It looks like Schlechter versus X. 1907 or something. Schlechter liked to take with the pawn in this type of variation. It's called the Mason variation. That's how old it is. In the old days, this was a popular opening like 120 years ago. d4, d5, bishop f4, bishop f5, for example. This was probably like very trendy in 1904. And now it's like Magnus Carlsen's favorite opening. Bishop f4, knight f6, e3. Bishop check, bad move. c6. So you took, takes with the queen. That extra tempo benefited black. I mean, this is a tough decision. Technically, it's his bad bishop, and this is your good bishop. And you're trading your bad bishop for his good bishop. But it's an active bad bishop. This is where I offer a draw, man. I offer a draw. This looks like a Grandmaster, like, prearranged draw. Bishop takes d6, queen d6. I've seen a lot of them over the years. I offer a draw for both sides in this position. White should play c3 and offer a draw. Be like a move down. He's like lost the move, but he still has a draw in hand. Okay, knight e5 is a good move. Or is it? You have queen check, queen c3. The engine likes sacrificing the b pawn. That's enterprising. Anyways, so this knight must go. It must go. The sooner, the better. You could play knight on bd7, and if f4, you could take here, let him fork you, play queen b4 check, get out of it, and then take on b2. And everything's fine. Thanks to Cry Wolf for showing up. I just want to get rid of that knight on e5. There are other ways to do it, though. You could kick it out with the pawn. But how? How do we do it? Castle? Maybe castle. f4. Knight e4. f4 is a bad move. Let's say castles. But I want to be aware that we want to get the knight off of e5. That's how Magnus Carlsen lost a game against Dubov a couple months ago. He just didn't respect the knight on e5. Gotta respect the knight on e5. Castles, knight d2, knight on bd7, and white plays not f4, which probably is a decent move, but knight f3. So this square is just... He's in trouble now. Queen b4 check. You got a better structure. You should do this now. Now he literally has to play... Oh, he's going to play king e2? Serially? You're Your queen is trapped. Oops. Well, there is that issue about your queen being trapped. But, I mean, on the other hand, like, his king is on e2. Maybe we don't have to take his pawn on b2. That's not healthy for white, you know? You just take and play this position where the guy's king is in the middle of the board. I mean, black should be slightly better. Don't have to take this pawn. Just be slightly better and not be up a pawn. Now you're c5, you're starting to talk. Now we're just rolling, you know, great position. Advantage to black. Period. End of story. Nice king on e2. I don't like his move knight f3 a lot. So you played knight e4, but honestly, okay, he plays here, queen c3 takes, knight here, and he still has c4. And it looks like I'm dropping a knight. Sorry, he has to play queen takes, pawn takes, knight takes, knight takes, knight e4, c4, f6, f3, f takes e5, f takes e4, and I lost where I'm at here. I don't know. I don't know what that is. But this is too symmetrical and it's driving me crazy. Alright. Anyways, queen b4 check. Clearly the move. The engine concurs. Dude, it's not a joke. I mean, this guy's king is in the middle of the board. That's your big chance there. You let him get away. Check is still possible. Even now, because the threat of this. c3, queen takes b2. So now he has to play king e2. And then you pull the knight away. And you're still better. Not much better, but your king is chilling on g8, completely safe. His king is in the middle of the board. With a closed position with all pawns on board, it's not like he's lost by force, but ultimately white isn't safe. If you can open it up, he's going to get croaked here. So you got to take a chance to get his king trapped in the center. f3, knight c5 was a fancy move. Fancy move syndrome. That loses? It doesn't lose. No, you have fancy move syndrome. Knight c5. I mean, the first move I'm going to play here is knight f6. And the second move I'm going to play, once I calculate it, is queen b4. But this is asking for trouble. I guess you just like honestly missed queen a3. Now b6. And you got the knight back here. But you still might drop your c6 pawn. So what does he do? He can't really do anything, huh? Knight d3 is check. So he took. Objectively, white should probably castle, right? But he can't because that's like a normal move. Or something. After castles, white is fine. But why does he do this? Ugh. Yeah, this is like game over. Rubinstein versus No Name. Karlovy Vary Simul 1909. Rubinstein black. It's a disaster. That's about as bad a structure as you can get. So, okay. Obviously, he has to play rook b2, I guess. What else is there? But you're going to crank your king over here to c5, rook a4, and then just like he's got to be lost. That doesn't make progress. Maybe... Wait, what? I don't understand. Hold on. Here, here, here. And okay, now you didn't want his king to come up, so you played rook a4. I see. And then here. So you're concerned about this? I mean, shouldn't you just take the pawn? Rook takes, rook takes, rook takes. He's tied down to this. He has no entry points. I mean, if he does this, he's like dropping everything. He can't do that. You should just take the pawn. I mean, you're probably still winning, but I don't want him to trade rooks, dude. Dude. This might be a draw now. You still have e5. e5 check. This may be winning. Computer says it's a draw, but White's going to have to fight for a draw. There. So g3, I don't see what's wrong with rook a2. But I don't want to trade rooks. I suppose you're very likely still winning. Now you're still winning. Paralyzed. Yeah. Is this the right way to go? Or d4? I guess it doesn't matter. It's both over. Check. Bye-bye. Alright, bye-bye. Next game. Cockatieri versus Chess, Black and White. This is our 8th game. Cockatieri, is he still here? Yeah, Bijak, I think you should play. You had a lot of opportunities. Trap his king in the center with queen b4 check is very strong. So Cockatieri is white. We had a game like this the other day where I played black. Same system. Except after this move I played bishop g4. You must go to the store. Be right back. Asturbate's going for cigarettes. Smoking is bad for your health. Bishop f5, the London system, which I hate, but here we go again. Kill the London system. Bishop g4, what's the best move? I am shocked at Stockfish evaluation here. Plus 0.3. This thing is always overconfident. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe the most solid thing against the Queen's Gambit, or this, let's see, g3, d5, c4. Black should play d4. Yeah, this particular move order. I agree. I don't play this move order much with white. I mean, normally I play knight f3 a lot. And then people play knight f6, and then I play bishop g2, and then they play c6, and then I play c4. Yeah, like this. But Cockatieri's move order with g3 first gives black a lot of options. c4 right away, though. I'm not sure how accurate this is. And what about stuff like pawn takes pawn? What's the deal with this? It's kind of a gray area. Pseudo-reti. But the knight's not an f3 yet. I really don't know. But I mean, d4 is definitely good. Do whatever Wojo did. Alright, rest in peace, Wojo. Anyways. c6. We transpose. Black played bishop f5, queen b3, and now, of course, queen c8 is weird. Black must play the boring and mandatory queen b6. And again, I'm pulling my eyeballs out because this is such a horrible position to play. I've played it d3, e6, and we have something like what you had against me. So interestingly, here, acerbate. Don't spend all your cigarette money. Thank you, Matt, for the donations. This is the exact same position I had against Kakatiri last time, but my bishop was on g4. How much difference does it make with this bishop on f5 versus bishop on g4? Black really needs this knight to get to d7. He's going to the bit store. He's going to buy some bits. Hopefully. Anyway, okay. d3. I don't know. e6. Whatever. So the guy played queen c8. I remember seeing like an Alexander Kostyuk game once where she did something similar. I put a YouTube video, I think. It was Yakovenko versus Kostyuk where he like crushed her. Kostyuk tried to do something like bishop h3. I don't remember. She ended up doing really weird moves like knight a6 and I just really like how Yakovenko plays. That guy is an awesome, just awesome grandmaster. But this is apparently like almost mandatory. Queen c8. So you castled here. I mean, I don't think bishop h3 is an issue. So what should white do? You could play like d3. It's just a London reversed, where black's been forced to play this weird queen c8. cd5, cd5, knight c3, threatening knight takes d5, e6, d3, Korchnoi Karpov. Speaking of Coach Robert Brooke. Knight c6. Lagging now. d3, knight c6. This is Korchnoi Karpov. It's not much for white, but that's the best you can do. Alright, so you did castles, which is fine. e6, d3, yes. I think h6 is overrated. We're gonna do like knight h4. Now Kakatiri played bishop f4. The problem with the queen is that it blocks us from fianchettoing, so we can't put our bishop on this diagonal. The queen is essentially misplaced on b3. I guess this is a reasonable move. Bishop f4. Knight on bd7. Now what? I kind of like rook c1. Hitting this queen on the file here. The computer likes black. Wow. Doesn't think that white has an advantage. It's favoring black. I mean, there's no way in the world that black is better here. I'm not crazy about bishop f4. So apparently knight c3, whatever Pigyasov did, that was the name of Yelena Dembo's guinea pig. Pigyasov, I was told. It's a very original guinea pig name. I played Pigyasov. We had a draw on a hedgehog. Alright, what are we going to do here? Yeah, I like this better. So Cockatier, I don't know. Bishop f4 is a move, but it's not really like a standard setup. Knight on bd7, knight h4. This is kind of the recipe you followed against me. But black is very solid here. So bishop g6, knight d2, castles, knight g6, hd6, cd5, and then which way should black take? Something about guinea pig. No, he was playing against the hedgehog. I played the hedgehog against the guinea pig. It was a draw, naturally. It's an equal matchup. C takes d5, opening the center. Now, he's got to take with the e pawn. This queen is bad here. And the c file is just a disaster waiting to happen. I mean, black could take with the knight, but he has no center. But actually, wait a minute. Hold on. Just a moment. Did he have this wonderful opportunity to play knight takes d5? That requires thought. White's still slightly better. What do you do? Is white still slightly better? I don't know. Maybe I would play knight f3, let black take here and take with the pawn, and white is okay. White is not worse. White has a good central mass of pawns. Maybe e3, creeping forward. Alright. I bet the Oracle will suggest knight takes d5. Yes. Black missed it. Vital move. Because after this, I don't feel happy. There's the c file. There's the e4. Okay, still he's solid. Rook c1 with no particular threat. I mean, black needs to play fundamental moves. He's got to watch this break. But black has stuff like knight c5, knight e6 maybe. He also has to watch this diagonal for bishop h3. That's done in the London sometimes. This is a bad square for black. And now the classic break a4, I mean e4, Freudian slip. I was thinking about a4, a5, but we don't want to do that with a rook on c1. We need the rook behind it to push a4, a5. e4, de4, de4. Now we have a strong center and black does not. Center versus no center. Which do you prefer? To have or have not? That is the question. What other chess stream are you going to get Shakespeare? Can't believe anyone would say anything less than complimentary about the stream. Thank you, Asterbay, for your support. Well, you never really had a bad d-pawn, Cockatieri. It's a bad d-pawn if it's on an open file. This is not a bad d-pawn. A tree that falls in the forest that doesn't make a sound was not really a tree. No, I got that wrong, but something like that. It's not a weak pawn. That's a weak pawn if it's on an open file. But he did trade a better pawn. He traded his d5 pawn for your d3 pawn, and that's good for you. So I guess black might be able to hold the balance. I mean, he might be able to hold the tension here. Maybe he could let you play e5. Let's see. Yeah, computer doesn't like giving up the strong point. I don't think that I don't think knight b6 was a good move. Oh, now it's finally caving in. Alright, well, he's caving in, but it's not over. I've had a lot of draws in these type of positions. This looks like a mistake, though. We're getting into serious mistake territory now. That's like Max Uva on a bad day versus Alekhine. We don't want our knight on h5. Not a principled move. That's not the good thing. Knight h5 on the side of the board. Bishop e3, taking this slicey diagonal. And now this is the main problem. Knight on h5. His knights suck. Now, by the way, you're not threatening anything. You're not threatening anything with bishop takes b6. But black has no moves. He's like getting into Zugzwang slowly. Very straightforward. No bishop c5. That's covered. We're threatening e5, e6, cracking his structure to smithereens. By the way, the pawn chain from hell. This is a problem. Maybe. So just be patient. I mean, worst case scenario, you could play h3. You could also play king h1. And if knight here, bishop g1. I mean, this looks crushing. Karpov would probably play king h1. Very Karpovian. Uber driver would approve. I mean, like, what's he going to do? This and this? Attacking your king and dropping his, like, f7 pawn, the remains of his pawn structure. So this might be better. I don't know. What's up here? That's the game. He just has no way to trade off your bishop. He wants to play bishop f6, but it doesn't work. He's running out of moves now. So you just played h3. He could play rook d8. What about rook d8? Not a big deal. The only thing I don't like is that our bishop has nowhere to retreat to, and we can't go to c3. You can play knight f3 though. And that's pretty bad, dude. That's devastating. Threat of knight g5, so knight h6. And this is a face hugger. Terminology I invented last week. The face hugger can be placed on... That makes it a face hugger if it's on g5. But obviously he could also go here in some positions. Threatening knight e5. Takes g6. A face hugger is like a knight on g4 that can't be chased away. Usually there has to be a knight on the corresponding rook 3 square to create a true face hugger. It's hard not to laugh when I do that. Alright, knight h6. Oh, this is awful, dude. Knight h6, and you just played g4. So deep. Forcing him to sack a piece. And then just trade pieces. He has 2 pawns for a piece, but this doubled pawns doesn't help that much. Yeah, queen trade. Queen trades are welcome. Bishop f2, queen h6. And you're just perfectly placed. Played like a master. Bishop e3. Nice desperate try with g5. Oh no. Check. Knight takes. Crushing threat. Another crushing threat. Another crushing threat. G6 is recommended, I guess. Let's try G6. Doesn't look real healthy after this. But I mean, that's the only try. He's probably toast here. So knight f6, knight f5, queen g5, knight e7 check, winning the queen. That's convenient. Yeah, that was pretty devastating. Nice game. Very well played. Model game. The only criticism I have of your game is a setup based on bishop f4. This is not really like a kind of typical setup for white, but I suppose it's fine. You know, you're playing it more like a Slav. But I feel like this, as the Encha pointed out, the majority of players that play knight c3, we try for e4. That's our main, or maybe like you played in the game, sort of cd and e4. I kind of prefer knight c3 to bishop f4, but I guess it's not such a simple line. This is more or less okay, but he did miss a really good move. You both erred here with CD, so CD is a mistake. At the same time, he's starting potentially to play e5 in some positions. In general, his whole variation with queen c8, though, summing up, queen c8 is passive, and it's not good. That's why black needs to play queen b6. All right, guys, time to go. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. It was a good analysis stream. We'll be back tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., if you can wake up that early. Back tomorrow morning, 11 a.m., with Blitz challenges, open challenges, for those of you with and without attention deficit disorder. We'll see everybody then. Thanks, Mr. Coffee, Astrobate, for the donations today. Mr. Coffee for moderating. Thanks, everybody, for submitting the games and being loyal followers of the stream. I like to do this stream every Thursday to give back to the subscribers. Something special. Appreciate it, everybody. We will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. CEST. Bye. Bye.